The air is thick, hot, and suffocating, heavy with the smell of endless piles of rotting trash. It's not just unpleasant, it's dense and invasive, seeping into your clothes, your skin, your very thoughts. Here, there are mountains, not of stone or dirt, but of plastic bottles, cardboard boxes, rusty metal scraps, and torn fabric. Everything we toss away as useless. This isn't just a dump, it's a whole world, buzzing with a hidden life you can't see from afar. On the outskirts of Manila, where civilization as we know it ends, another reality begins. One shaped by harsh necessity, constant need, and the fight to survive. In this world where there's no electricity, running water, or steady food supply, everything is done differently. Even what we call closeness or relationships. In our world, homes are built from brick and concrete, with doors, locks, and windows that separate one space from another, one life from another. Here, homes are made from whatever can be found: twisted sheets of metal, pieces of plywood, old banners with faded, bright ads, and hundreds, thousands, millions of plastic bottles. These are more like temporary nests. They give the illusion of a home, the illusion of privacy. And in these homes, without walls, where the smells of the dump seep through every crack and the sounds of other residents are as close as your own, even the most personal moments stop feeling private. What happens here isn't just about feelings as we understand them. Here, relationships are a deal, a contract, survival. The people living here are scavengers, those who dig through trash looking for things to sell, trade, or use. Plastic is their currency, their building material, their hope. And sometimes the foundation for something more. There's no room here for long courtships or romantic gestures. Time moves differently here, and the values are different. The main value is resources, food, water if you're lucky enough to find a source or catch rain, and safety as much as possible in a world where there's no room for mistakes, where the only protection is a fragile agreement with others or the ability to stand your ground. As evening falls, the sun sets behind the trash mountains, and a homemade lamp made from a bottle filled with kerosene or used oil flickers to life with a dim yellow glow. Life doesn't stop, it just changes its rhythm. A man approaches one of these fragile shacks. In his hands, he carries a bag of bottle caps collected during the day. Maybe a few pounds of plastic. Maybe a small pack of noodles or rice he traded for from a vendor. He doesn't knock. There are no doors like we know them here. He just stops at the entrance, and a woman sitting inside looks up. Between them, there are very few words, a glance, a brief chat about what was found today, and a decision she makes, because this is her home, her space, which she built or took over, her fragile fortress, and she decides who gets in, who shares this night with her. Here, plastic is currency. For 5 pounds of bottles, for a pack of noodles, for a promise to help fix a roof made from a Pepsi banner, the man earns a spot by the fire, if there is one, or just a corner on a piece of cardboard that serves as a bed. It might sound cold, but it's practical. It's honest by the standards of this world. It's an exchange. In return for the resources he brings, she offers the warmth of her body. They're not looking for romance here, but profit, yes. But they're also looking for warmth, temporary protection from loneliness, from fear, from a harsh reality ready to swallow you whole every minute. Being close to someone is already something. It's proof that you're not alone. And in this sense, the woman here holds incredible power. She's not an object. She's the mistress of her space and her body. She decides who deserves to share her scarce resources and her closeness. Her choice isn't based on social norms or expectations. There are none here. It's based on what keeps her alive. She's the center of this fragile world, its backbone. Men come and go, some for one night, others for longer. They bring another kind of value: physical strength for protection, the skill to find something worthwhile in the piles. And every decision she makes is hers alone. She can accept him if she needs the resource or reject him if he comes empty-handed. It's her right, her way of control in a world where almost nothing is controlled. In our world, people meet in cafes or movie theaters. Here, it's by a pile of trash or inside a shack smelling of smoke and rot. While others talk about feelings and the future, here they talk about what was found today and where it's safer to sleep tonight. Intimacy here is a form of exchange. A man gives something material and gets access to warmth and closeness. A woman gets resources that help her survive and maybe protect herself. This system reflects their daily life. They recycle trash, turning it into a means of existence. They recycle relationships the same way. It might shock you. It might make you judge from your world of comfort and conventions. But there's no room for hypocrisy here. Everything is straightforward and honest. There's a need, there's a resource, there's an exchange. And if that exchange includes human closeness, so be it. Not because they want to live this way, but because the dump sets the rules. It's in this world, where the idea of home is a roof made from a banner, and food is found rice, that these pragmatic bonds form. They let people survive in inhuman conditions, finding warmth and support even among mountains of trash. It's their adaptation, where it seems there's no place for anything living. Night falls. Darkness thickens over the trash mountains, and tiny lights from homemade lamps pierce the blackness. The day's heat is replaced by a slightly less suffocating warmth of the night, filled with the same smells of rot and smoke. Life goes on in these fragile shacks, but now under the influence of intimacy that isn't always about feelings, but always about survival. Remember the man who came to the shack with resources in hand, plastic, food. The woman accepted him. What happens next when they're inside this home without walls? There are no bedrooms, no doors to close. Often it's one small space where several people live, each on their own piece of cardboard or rag. Intimacy here isn't wrapped in courtship rituals or pretty words. There's a need and a chance to meet it or trade it. Everything happens right here, in the only room, under a roof made of old plastic, on a piece of cardboard that serves as a bed. No privacy as we know it. But that doesn't mean there's no room for something more. Among this harsh pragmatism, among constant exchange, sometimes something like trust, partnership, or even, by their standards, a real connection emerges. When a raid came to tear down the shacks, the man didn't run away, but stayed to defend her and her home. That's a move. In their world, it means a lot. It's not 5 pounds of plastic. It's a show of reliability, and the woman can decide that such a man deserves to stay longer than one night. He proved his worth. Or another example, a man might come every night with his modest haul, a little rice, a few caps, a piece of found fabric, and he's just there, quietly, asking for nothing but a place to sleep. And his consistency, his quiet presence, that's a value too. And the woman might decide that this presence is what she needs. A man might stay forever, not because he popped the question with a ring, but because he became part of this fragile everyday life, because he took on some of the care, because his presence makes the woman's life a little easier and safer. And that's their family. A family living on a dump, under a banner, where the weather is ruled by the rainy season and the walls sway in the wind. These people in Manila live in a world that's hard for us to imagine. Their values aren't shaped by books or social norms, but by the daily fight to exist. Their relationships aren't always love as we know it, but they're always pragmatic, mixed with something more. They find warmth, safety, and sometimes even real attachment. Their life is a constant reminder of how extreme conditions change human nature and relationships. They survive where life seems impossible. They build their homes from trash and their bonds from necessity. Here, true value isn't in empty words, but in concrete actions, and the ability to be there when it really counts. Because where trash becomes home, another kind of life is born, one incredibly tough and strong.